Throughout football history, we've witnessed many dominant teams that has obliterated opponents and won everything.
Champions of Europe again,
the European champions.
But in 2015, FC Barcelona assembled a team like no one before. They had the greatest attacking trio of all time, including 2 Golden Boot winners, the best player in the world and the most skillful player in the world in his absolute peak. They obliterated every team in Europe with the most flashy and astonishing attacking ever, setting one of the best Champions League records in Champions League history. But how good was MSN really, and are the 2015 Barcelona really the best team of all time? In the 2010s decade, there is no question that Barcelona was one of the most successful teams, especially when you consider the Pep Guardiola era, where they won 2 Champions Leagues, 3 La Ligas, and 2 Copa del Reys. They also played the most revolutionary football ever, tiki-taka.
Take the ball, pass the ball, take the ball, pass the ball.
Barcelona had the greatest midfield trio in the world and the greatest player in the world, and they were universally viewed as the best team on the planet.
They were just too good.
But after 4 successful years, Pep Guardiola expressed that he needed a break from coaching, and he felt he had accomplished everything he set out to do at Barcelona. In the following season, Barcelona continued to be dominant in La Liga, and they had an incredible La Liga campaign, winning the league with 100 points. Messi was once again Barcelona's most important player, scoring 46 goals in 32 appearances in La Liga. But in the Champions League, Barcelona hadn't had it as easy, but they still managed to make it to the semi-final where Bayern Munich awaited. But Barcelona got absolutely obliterated by Bayern Munich, losing 4-0 in the first leg and then 3-0 in the second, which was Barcelona's biggest Champions League loss ever at the time. In the 2013 to 2014 season, Lionel Messi continued to be the team's driving force, but the season was affected by inconsistency and injuries across the squad. Messi himself struggled with a calf injury that sidelined him for several important matches. The season 2013 to 14 ended up being a very disappointing one. Barcelona finished second in La Liga behind Atletico Madrid. They were eliminated in the Champions League quarter-finals against Atletico Madrid, and they also lost the Copa del Rey final against Real Madrid. Barcelona went trophyless for the first time since 2008 and lost to their 2 biggest rivals, so Barca knew they needed a change. So in the following season, they appointed Luis Enrique, a former Barcelona player who really understood the club's philosophy rooted in Johan Cruyff's legacy. But there was actually one good thing that happened in the 2013 to 14 season: the signing of Neymar Jr. Neymar had impressed a lot in his first season at Barcelona and had only gotten better and better, and Enrique realized that Neymar Jr. would be a very important player for his Barcelona. But Barcelona knew they had to make the team even more stronger to compete for the titles. And Luis Enrique instantly signed 2 goalkeepers, Bravo and Ter Stegen. He also sold Alexis Sanchez to Arsenal to free up some cash, which they used to sign Europa League winner Ivan Rakitic. And then they signed the final piece in the puzzle, goal-scoring machine Luis Suarez from Liverpool, who was arguably the best striker in the world at the time, scoring 31 goals in the Premier League, winning the European Golden Boot. Barcelona now had the best striker in the world, the best player in the world, and also one of the most skillful and most promising players in the world. They also had world-class players like Iniesta, Busquets, Rakitic, and Dani Alves. And in the beginning of the season, Barcelona seemed unstoppable. They were unbeaten in their first 7 league games, and in those 7 games, Messi and Neymar had to play without Suarez due to his suspension after the biting incident in the 2014 World Cup. But Messi and Neymar didn't disappoint, scoring 15 goals in 7 matches together, and it was clear their chemistry had drastically improved this season. But then, on October 25th, in the first clash of the season between Barcelona and Real Madrid, Luis Suarez finally made his debut for Barcelona, and MSN was born. However, Messi, Suarez, and Neymar was still getting used to play with each other, and as a result, Real Madrid won 3-1 despite Neymar scoring a great goal. But MSN was just getting started, and after this loss, they won 11 games in a row, scoring 23 goals together. It seemed like Barcelona had turned on the PlayStation, entered a cheat code, and played the entire season in God mode. Barcelona got their revenge on Real Madrid in March 2015, winning 2-1, and later on the spring, they secured the La Liga title, winning 1-0 versus Atletico Madrid. Messi, Suarez, and Neymar finished the La Liga season scoring 81 goals together on 32 matches. Barcelona also won the Copa del Rey final against Athletic Bilbao, where Messi famously dribbled past 5 players and scored one of the best goals of his career.
From the Primera Division. It's something to be admired, I have to say. Well, there's 3 of them round, and he's still going. Look at this, Kevin. It's a brilliant run from Messi. Will he go all the way?
Barcelona had secured the double, but there was still the biggest trophy left to win, where Barcelona had beaten the English champions Manchester City in the round of 16, where Messi put up a playmaking masterclass assisting Suarez and Rakitic. Then Barcelona also beat the French champions PSG, where Neymar scored 2 goals in the first leg and Suarez scored 2 in the second leg. But in the semi-finals, a familiar face awaited. Barcelona's former coach Pep Guardiola and Bayern Munich, who had absolutely demolished Bundesliga, winning their third Bundesliga in a row. The game started very evenly and stood at 0-0 for most of the game, but Barcelona had the best player in the world, and in the 77th minute, Messi scored a goal from outside the box to give Barca the lead. And then 3 minutes later, he scored one of the most magical goals of his career, putting Boateng to sleep, and then finished it with an incredible chip. Neymar then scored on a counter-attack in the last minute to seal a 3-0 advantage for Barcelona. The return in Munich was a lot tougher for Barcelona, but MSN proved why they were the best trio in the world, and the three linked up for 2 goals, and that was enough for Barcelona to reach the final of the Champions League. And they were going to face the Italian champions Juventus with legends like Pirlo and Paul Pogba. But Barcelona had a much stronger team than Juventus and convincingly won the match, and Barcelona were European champions. Barcelona had an extraordinary Champions League campaign because they beat the current champion of every top 5 league. Barcelona also became only the 5th team to win a treble in the top 5 leagues. Barcelona were on top of the world again thanks to the best front trio in the world. In the following season, Barcelona continued to perform, but they also suffered a serious blow because Messi got injured on Game 6 of the La Liga season and were going to be away for 2 months, and many thought this were going to affect Barcelona's excellent form. But of course, Barcelona also had 2 other superstars in Neymar and Suarez who were in the form of their life. Suarez and Neymar scored 18 goals in 6 games together while Messi was away. In this period, Barcelona also won 4-0 at the Santiago Bernabeu against Real Madrid, where Suarez scored 2 and Neymar scored 1. But eventually Messi came back and Barcelona kept on performing. Barcelona had also swept through in the Champions League, not losing a single game, and were through to the quarter-finals after beating Arsenal. Barcelona had also advanced to the Copa del Rey final, and it seemed like Barcelona were going to win everything yet again. But in April, something happened. Barcelona completely lost form, losing 3 La Liga games in a row versus Real Madrid, Valencia, and Real Sociedad. And as a result, Real Madrid caught up in the title race, sitting at only 1 point behind Barcelona. And they also suffered an early exit in the Champions League, losing against Diego Simeone's defensive super team Atletico Madrid with 3-2 on aggregate after 2 goals by Antoine Griezmann. Barcelona only had 2 games left of the season and needed to win both of them to save the season from a disaster. They had to win away versus Granada to win La Liga, and they comfortably did, winning 3-0 thanks to a Suarez hat-trick. Barcelona also won the Copa del Rey final against Sevilla. After the dramatic spring of 2016, where Barcelona, despite a rough patch, still managed to secure both La Liga and the Copa del Rey, the team entered the new 2016/17 season with blonde hair and sky-high expectations. MSN had already established themselves as the most dangerous attacking trio in world football, but at the same time, small cracks were beginning to show beneath the surface. Neymar was in his prime and was universally viewed as the best player in the world behind Messi and Ronaldo, but Neymar had a long life dream of becoming the best player in the world and wanted to win the prestigious Ballon d'Or award. But he knew it wouldn't be possible as long as he played with Messi, because Messi was always going to be the number 1 at Barcelona. But even though Neymar had thoughts of leaving, he still enjoyed playing at Barcelona with Messi and Suarez, and he had developed such a good relationship with them. So Neymar decided to extend his contract with Barcelona until 2021. In February 2017, Barcelona had performed well in both La Liga and the Champions League and were now about to face PSG in the last 16. MSN had scored 14 goals in 6 games so far in the Champions League, and Barcelona were strong favorites to win the entire Champions League yet again. On paper, the Catalans were the clear favorites. With Messi, Suarez, and Neymar in unstoppable form and the team fighting for every title, most people expected Barca to control the tie. But the first leg in Paris was nothing short of a nightmare. Di Maria scored twice, Julian Draxler added another, and Edinson Cavani sealed a stunning 4-0 victory. It was one of the heaviest defeats in Barcelona's modern history in Europe, and suddenly the dream of another Champions League title looked all but over. But inside the Camp Nou, the players and the fans refused to give up, and the return leg in Barcelona was set to become one of the most dramatic nights the Champions League had ever seen.
It's Neymar trying to feed it through. It's a stretch and it's in. And I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. It is the greatest Champions League knockout comeback of all time.
Barcelona won 6-1 and completed the greatest comeback in Champions League history. Neymar was the true hero of that night. In the final minutes, he took complete control of the game, scoring a brilliant free kick, converting a high-pressure penalty, and then delivering the perfect assist for Sergio Roberto's legendary goal. Neymar began to feel that no matter what he did, he would always live in Messi's shadow at Barcelona. In the summer of 2017, there was a lot of speculation about Neymar because he was in contact with PSG, and after much talk throughout the summer, PSG activated Neymar Neymar's release clause of 222 million euros, which to this day is the biggest transfer fee in football history. So Neymar went to PSG, and that was the end of the MSN era in Barcelona. Messi and Suarez continued to be a world-class duo at Barcelona for many years until 2020, when Suarez was forced out of Barcelona. In 2021, Messi was also forced out of Barcelona due to the financial situation at the club. But Messi, Suarez, and Neymar will always be remembered as arguably the best trio in football history, and the 2015 Barcelona as one of the greatest teams of all time.